Okay, before the break, you mentioned the term snake oil that was applied to you after your congressional testimony. And the bottom line is, how much money do you make as the patent holder on hydroxychloroquine?
Yeah, I don't hold any patents. I personally don't hold any patents, but whatever they are, they've long served out their royalty periods.
Ivermectin, you make a lot of money off the fact that ivermectin is successful as a treatment?
These are typically $3 to $10 drugs.
What about the people that make the COVID vaccine?
Yeah, well, CEPI, their preliminary business plan, they came through with their promise to their investors. I mean, this whole business of vaccine countermeasures, and remember that word, it's very important. It's not a pharmaceutical product. It is pursuant to the PrEP Act of 2005, it is an emergency countermeasure that the United States government pre-purchases, distributes to the entire population, and absolves the creator of the substance from any liability. So this means, let's take Pfizer and Moderna. They had no marketing costs. They had no liability. They didn't have to make a market. The U.S. government pre-purchased all of it. European Union. The European Union purchased 1.9 billion doses of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The whole deal was negotiated in secret between Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in secret by text message, and we still don't know what this man and woman communicated with each other.
Billions and billions of dollars.
And billions of dollars.
It's politics and greed combined. So which one had a greater... I know this was used politically. I mean, President Trump gets on and mentions hydroxychloroquine. He's not a doctor. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But essentially, he was right. It does have some efficacy.
He was citing a paper that had just been published by Didier Raoult in France, who's the most published microbiologist in Europe. So Donald Trump wasn't pretending to be a doctor. Someone on his staff said, this professor in Marseille is a great microbiologist who's just published this paper. Trump was just citing medical literature.
But it got highly politicized. I mean, the whole, you're not a horse, you're not a pig, stop taking ivermectin. I mean, which is nonsense. I mean, doctors prescribe things off-label all the time, don't you?
We do. In fact, the majority of drugs, the original advertising label decades ago could have anticipated a COVID pandemic. So, of course, it's off-label. And the FDA, in 2018, they have some guidance right on their website, says use drugs off-label when you're fulfilling an unmet need, and that's what we are doing.
You know, I've read something in the book, I think, if I caught it correctly, if it had been an experimental drug that had not gone through clinical trial testing and approval, that these could be used for emergency use authorization. But because it had been approved, I think I read that in your book, because it had been approved that they were denying the use of it.
Yeah, these strange lawyer dodges and paradoxes. I mean, hydroxychloroquine was FDA approved in 1955 for malaria, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus. In the year 2015, the guys that discovered and developed ivermectin were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine, human and veterinarian, and ivermectin was lauded a wonder drug. There is a statue of Satoshi Omura in front of the WHO building in Geneva, one of the great healers in all of human history. They just flipped this thing around and smeared ivermectin, a wonder drug. Billions of doses taken and tolerated every year.
But remember, it's not just ivermectin. Our book outlines even simple nasal sprays and gargles were attacked. Vitamin D was attacked. High-tech products like monoclonal antibodies turned out that they were impeded and pulled off the market within a few weeks. So it wasn't just
anything that got in the way of the vaccine.
That's
the
it.
Vaccine.
So what happens next? I saw just not long ago monkeypox is the next pandemic, and I think you had a great deal to do with waking people up. No, this is nonsense.